Welcome back to all the crackers in the box. Hi, it's me, your friend Corey, about to move on with my life. So, in the last video, we finished our first side of my Hexie cardigan made with Summer Nights in the beautiful color Treasure Island. It's a super fine weight. It's a 800 meters. You can make a whole scarf with this thing, but I'm not going to. I'm making a cardigan. So first thing I want to do is find this. Now see this? This is not my center pole. See? This is pulling to there. So this is definitely not the side I need. We're going to tuck that back in there. There we go. And this is going to be the side I need because it's, see, it's pulling the way I want. I want a center pull on this one because I know how this yarn is going to go, being that this is my second one. Oh, look at that. A nice factory one. Nice and tight. We're good. Doesn't bother me in the least. Alright, because this is a discontinued yarn. And I got it at the Dollarama for a really good deal. And so far, I have been very happy with it, even with little bits of it not being perfect. I think this is going to turn out to be so pretty. Everyone who sees this yarn is crazy about it, complimenting it left, right, and center. The colors are really, really subtle and very pretty. And I found my end. So, if you're ready, let's get started. Okay. Now, a lot of people do not like the magic ring. I do. So we go around and we put an X, okay? Grab your hook. You go under, you're going to go over. You're going to wrap and pull. So what you're creating here is a ring that is able to be tightened. So in this case, because I always let go there, I don't hold that fingering for very long. As soon as I get that little twist in there, it's just a slip knot. It's really just a weird way to make a slip knot. It really isn't that bad. Another variation is just to, how do they do it? They do a bunch of chains, like 4 chains, I believe. And then you just put the chain 4 and then you would put them together. So basically what I'm saying is you would do your knot like this. Your beautiful little slip knot, however you do it, because I know some people do it slightly different than I do, and that is absolutely amazing. You would just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Some people like a little bigger, some people like a little less. You'd slip stitch into there, and then you go 1, 2, 3. And you just start doing it this way. I personally find this very difficult for me, but a lot of people find it the easier way. Bag O'Day Crochet, that's all she does. For me, though, I spent hours learning how to do the magic ring. So every time I start any project, I start to do the magic ring without even thinking about it. I spent hours, like 4 hours, with a bit of scrap yarn, and I learned it. I learned it good. 1, 2, 3, I believe it's 4 for a double crochet. So we need to put in 6 for the Hexie cardigan. So we're going to go with 1. This is 1 cluster. Okay, so this is our starting cluster. And I should have done 3, I think. Yeah, 3 is more my height that I prefer. It's trying 4, but I don't like the way it's pulling out the side. I know why people do 4, but for this particular project, I don't want it to be so far pulled out. It'll make it super noticeable to me. So 2 and 3. So basically you want something to wrap all of these stitches around. You're going to need some sort of ring, whether it is a ring of chains or a magic ring. Both will work. All not a problem. You can do it. Either way will work wonderfully. There we go. So this is corner 1. Or sorry, this is actually corner 2, but we're going to call it 1. 1. And to make the corner, all you're doing, you're going to love this, chaining 2. That's 2. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that's 1, 2, and we do chain 2. Now I'm going to add in these fellas. 1, 2, and 3. And also, huge pat on the back to myself for getting the goal you set for yourself. Yes, queen. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to shrink that down a little. 4. 1. There we go. And yes, so once you get that one little loop on the magic ring, they will hold pretty nicely. I do recommend putting a knot in as soon as you possibly can close it all the way, just simply because sometimes they will occasionally come undone that way. Occasionally it happens. I've seen it happen in actual projects, like finished things. So you want to be sure that you have a really good knot, possibly glue it into place, whatever you need to do to feel like it's good. Personally, I find a knot works really well and holds really well, especially when you're still working on the project and haven't 100% committed. But once you commit, you can put a tiny piece of fabric glue on it and it will definitely keep its spot. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this will be corner 6. So we are going to wrap that through there, and because we're connecting one end to another, we're going to use a half double crochet to attach the whole row together. 1, 2, 3. Pull that a little tighter. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And believe me, it is so easy to miscount down here. I had a couple times where I started it and I had 7. So if that happens, don't feel bad. It happens to the best of us and the worst of us. There we go, and we're just going to go here. Yeah. And we'll put the corners in. There we go. 1, 2. So this one's a little trickier because you would think you're trying, like if you had, like this is definitely how you do it. It does start it off a little strange. You're going to be like, wow, these corners are really close to each other. And yes, they kind of are, but this space that I'm making right here, from here to here, is going to be where you put in your cluster on the next row. So you're going to put a cluster right there, which will start spacing it a little better. At the beginning, it always looks a little weird. And I'm going to go 2. So every one of these corners are still a corner. Your corners stay the same spot every row. but they will spread as they go, but they will stay in a continuous line as this expands. So that's a corner, that's a corner. This is a corner. And 2 and 3. We do our 2 because it is a corner. 1, 2, and 3. Over here is 1, 2, and 3. Do a little corner. We have 2 left. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now this is what I mean by not tightening it. I don't tighten this until I get a few rows in because it can start to be a little bit bulky feeling, and I like it to be a little more spread out for this part, so it makes my counting a lot easier for myself. But you can definitely tighten it wherever you're comfortable. So like 5 rows in, whatever works for you. Just make sure you keep an eye on that it's not unraveling. But I feel like once you've made that cross, I don't find that it's too bad. So now we are back at the beginning of the row. We go 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do our half double into that part. 1, 2, 3. Let's take a little moment to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for this row, we are going to be stopping by in the middle. So this is the beginning corner. 2, and that's 3. And I'm not doing a chain 1. Some people like to do a chain 1 for a wider space. I didn't want that for this project. So no chaining on this one, but if you feel you want to chain between them, please do. There we go. 2 and 3. Because I wanted my granny clusters to be just a little bit closer. When I put the space in, it spread it out way too much. It made the spaces way too big for this yarn and for this project, so I didn't want to do that. So just make sure when you get to your corners that you make your corners your corners. Absolutely, without fail, if it's a corner piece, that's where your next row's corner piece should be. So they're building on each other. And see how it's got a bit of a flowery shape at this moment, which is quite nice. But this will definitely bulk it out a little more and start to pull away from the very noticeable hexagon shape. There we go. 1, 2, 3. 1. Oops. Get back here. 1, 2. And you can definitely put in other stitches if you like for this pattern. You can do clusters of this, clusters of that, or you can do just 1 or 2, whatever works for the yarn that you're using and the size that you're going for. There's a lot of variations in this pattern. It does not have to be this. It is definitely just the most basic version of it that I'm showing, with a few tweaks to do what I want it to do, which is what I would like it to do, of course, right? We want it to do as we need, when we need. All right. Now I'm in the middle one, so this one's just all on its own, just a cluster of 3 stitches. 2, 3. And now I'm in a corner again. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and then we just have a single cluster right there, back to a corner, and back to the beginning of the whole row. So 1, 2, 3, right, and 1, 2, 3, oops, sorry, 1, 2, because it's a corner. We're going to hit up on this part here, 2, and 3. Now we've got 1, 2, and 3. A little knot in there, I see you, but I'm not worried about you. So half double crochet to join the corner together. Wait, no, that was not right. See, I made a mistake there. I need to add a second cluster over to the corner, because that's one of the most common mistakes to make, especially in the early bit. So I'm glad I caught that right away, so before it ended up being a little misshapen. Now we do the half double. 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I'm going to grab a stitch marker. Let's pick a color that's wild. The red was on the last one, so let's do orange this time. We'll go one of my nice thick Hobie ones. Alright, so we're going to pull that nice and tight, and that's the shape of it. Get you in there nice and close so you can get a good view of that. And that's how we start them off, right? And that is the first like 3 rows of doing a hexie cardigan the way I do. Even at this size, look, it fits. It fits a Barbie. That's about it. Anyways, thanks for joining me here today at All the Crackers in the Box. Super excited. I reached my goal for the week, and starting the second side of this is making my day, so happy about that. Glad you were here, and hopefully my videos were enjoyable, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!